All right. So like it. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, go ahead, clap it up. So like, give me 1 second. Okay. Shalom, go ahead, clap it up. All right. Yahweh Hashem Isupk thumbs, all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Alathun by Hashem Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. I'm priest and officer of 5,000 Malak under commanding General Yana in the Isupk under commanding General Yana. We all started out at 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. We are not affiliated with any Israelite group or organization. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and go into tonight's class, which is the Wednesday night. Tonight is the Wednesday night law class. You understand? Last night was the Tuesday night brotherhood class. So we're going straight into the Wednesday night law class. And as promised, I brought the book that I was speaking about last night. I spoke of this book last night. This book here is I May Not Get There With You, The True Martin Luther King Jr. by Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. This is a great book. I've been having this book for 17 years, man. This is a good book. You understand? If Dr. King is your God, if you made Dr. King your God, like so many black Christians have done, this book here, brother, will show you the true, the real Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. or AKA Orgy Mike. All right. So we're going into the law class. As you can see from the title, I'm gonna get this Salakia. Let me get the sign-in link. Make sure you're signing in the class. All right. I'm pulling the sign-in link up now. So as you see from the title, tonight we're going into choice. You understand how choice can be evil. Right? America gives everybody the choice, a freedom, a liberty. You understand? A freedom of choice, a freedom of speech, a freedom of this, a freedom of that. Right now in America, a man could be a woman and a woman could be a man. A 6-year-old boy could take puberty blockers and say, I'm a girl. I identify as a girl. Right now in America, there are tons of liberties. Tons of freedoms, tons of choice. And tonight we're going to talk about just how that has been a detriment to the black community. Right? It has been a detriment to the black community. Choice and freedom and liberty. That's been a detriment. Okay? Make sure you're logging in. Okay, I have it everywhere. I have the sign-in link everywhere. Okay? All right, let's go into tonight's class, man. The Wednesday night law class. Choice. Choice is evil. Choice is an evil thing. It can be. Right? It can be. Right now we're going to read a story about a strong leader of the nation of Israel. One time, Joshua, or Yahushua in the Hebrew. And this brother here led us to take Jericho. He led us past Ai to defeat the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Hivites, the Perizzites, and so many other nations, heathen nations, that the Most High God ordered him to unalive and to take the land of, so we could have peace. So blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians could have peace. Hey, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shamar L'Tabashim Yahweh Shah. All right, so the Lord told Joshua, who was a powerful, mighty warrior under the Most High God and a leader of the nation of Israel after Moses. Moses took some land, took ground. You understand? Joshua took some land, took ground. You understand? And we're going to read about a story right now on us coming out of Egypt. Right? Us coming out of Egypt. We're going into Shechem, a land that the Most High God brought us to under Joshua. And at this time, Joshua, he's dealing out the inheritances. He's giving out the inheritances to each tribe of the nation of Israel. So I can catch you up right here where we picking up. Joshua is teaching or telling each tribe, Ephraim, Judah, Reuben, Manasseh, Issachar, Gad. He's going over Asher. You understand? Naphtali, Aparium. He's giving the 12 tribes of Israel their inheritances. The sons of their land. This belongs to you. Ephraim, this belongs to you. Judah, this belongs to you. Reuben, this belongs to you. Right? This is what we're teaching. This is what we're reading out of right now. This is what we're picking up from right now. So we're in the time where Joshua, he's giving these inheritances by the order of the Most High God to the tribes of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. And right now we're going to read a part here in this Bible, in the story of Joshua and the Israelites, that is so profound that even Christians will utter this scripture today. In the Christian church, you walk into a church, the scripture in the Bible that I'm about to read is posted in every church all across America, all across the United Kingdom, all across Mexico, all across Puerto Rico. The scripture I'm about to read is something that Christians, yes, even Christians, will speak about, that know, that recite this scripture. All right, so we're in Joshua chapter 24, and we're going to start at verse 13. All right, Joshua chapter 24, verse 13. And I have given you a land for which ye did not labor, and cities which ye built not, and ye dwell in them. Salakia, of the vineyards and of olive yards which ye planted not do ye eat. Verse 14. Now therefore fear the Most High, and serve him in sincerity and in truth. So first, Joshua, shalom sis. Shalom sis, Yahweh Shemar Tabashim Shah. So, Salakia, what we just read, Joshua told the children of Israel, the land that I just gave you, that I just gave unto you, you didn't work for it. The vineyards that you have, you didn't plant those vineyards. The olive yards, you didn't plant those. You didn't work for those. But somehow you still got them. And once again, tonight's class is going over choice can be evil. Making a choice, the decision to do this, the freedoms to have this, the freedoms of this, that can be evil. It can be evil. And it has been our detriment here in America. Right? Joshua just finished telling the children of Israel, the land that you are going to get, that I just blessed you from the Lord, that's land you didn't work for. Right? Some black people, my whole entire life, I'm sure your entire life too, something blacks and Hispanics is always murmuring about is land. We don't have enough farms. We don't have enough land. We don't have enough resources. We don't have enough this. We don't have enough ranches. Right? We don't have the land to have Black Wall Street anymore. We don't have the land of 50,000 acres, the 500,000 acres our oppressor has. Land is something that is scarce to a lot of people. Something that is scarce to blacks and Hispanics since after civil rights. After civil rights, there are no farmers that are black. Before civil rights, everybody that was a farmer was black and Hispanic. You understand? We don't even own the land that the Isupk farm on now. That is something that is scarce to us. Right? Land. Well, imagine a time in history where you didn't have to work for your land. Right? Issachar right now are on farms in California, farms in Arizona, farms in Nevada, farms in Texas, in Texas, and picking strawberries, picking cabbage, lettuce, fruits, vegetables, just so you could eat a banana that isn't $40 a pound. Just so I could eat a tomato that isn't $16 a pound. So I could eat a head of lettuce that isn't $25 a head. That's what the tribe of Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, are doing right now. They have willingly put themselves into slavery in 2020s and the 2020s so we could eat and enjoy life, and we can enjoy the food that we eat without having to break our bank account, without having to spend $150 on bananas and apples and pears. That is what the tribe of Issachar is doing right now. Well, imagine a world where the so-called Mexicans don't have to pick corn, don't have to pick tomatoes, don't have to pick bananas, don't have to bend over 12 to 14 hours a day picking lettuce and cabbage where they can't even go use the goddamn bathroom. And they still receive land that is sufficient for the entire tribe of Issachar. Imagine a world where the tribe of Judah, although we've picked cotton and peanuts and sugar cane in Louisiana and picked cotton in Georgia, imagine a world where blacks, the so-called black man, the Negro, the Judites in America did not have to pick cotton, did not have to cut sugar cane in Louisiana, in Florida, didn't have to be fed to alligators, our babies fed to alligators as alligator bait during the time of slavery. Imagine a world where you didn't have to go through any of that, but you still received the land that's sufficient for the Negroes, sufficient for the so-called blacks in America, the tribe of Judah. Imagine a world where Ephraim and the Simeonites, you understand, the Levites, imagine a world where they get to receive land and resources and they didn't have to lift a finger for it. Imagine that world, brother. Just think about that real fast as I read this scripture. Joshua chapter 24, verse 14. Now therefore fear the Most High. Brother, this is what is so amazing about the Bible. So amazing about the scripture I just read, and so amazing about the Most High. The land that the Lord blessed Israel with, you didn't have to work for that. You didn't have to work for that. You didn't have to plant the vineyards and the olive yards. The Most High made a way to where Joshua and his soldiers took ground and took the land and took the olive yards and took the vineyards under righteousness and justice under the Most High God. Your women didn't have to be out in the field in California for 14 hours picking cabbage and lettuce and bananas. Your sons at 13 years old could be in school and not have to be in a field in Nevada and Arizona like the tribe of Isupk is now, right now, picking fruits and vegetables. They could be in school and your wife could be at home tending to her family, tending to the newborn, tending to making dinner, preparing lunch, preparing dinner, preparing supper, instead of being in a field for 14 hours, breaking their neck and their back, bending at the knee, working from can't see to can't see. They would be in the home. They would be in their proper place and still receive land sufficient for their people. Now this is what Joshua said after he said that. Now therefore fear the Most High. Joshua was saying, brother, the land that you have now, here we're in Shechem. The land we have, you didn't work for it. The Lord gave it to us as an inheritance, as a blessing. You didn't have to plant it. You didn't have to work for it. Now, therefore, fear the Most High God. That's a beautiful ultimatum, right? That's a beautiful ultimatum. Somebody says, brother, you could just go to school and learn how to do this and learn how to do that. You can play those video games for 18 hours and someone is going to give you $1 billion. What brother wouldn't turn that deal down, right? Someone tells you, sis, oh, what you going to slavery every day? What do you have to go work? So many black women, and we're going to get into that next. Soon, we're about to jump into the black women and the workforce in America, and we're going to go into black women in the workforce before civil rights. Black women, right now, what's your job? What do you do now? Where do you work now? Imagine someone comes to you and says, sis, what are you doing? Sorting someone else's mail? No, go home. Go home, tend to your family, and someone is going to give you some land and a house that you don't have to work for. What sister wouldn't take that deal? I hear black women all the time complaining about working and going to a slavery every day on Facebook, every day in the world, every day on the slave. Black and Hispanic women, not so much this tribe of Issachar women, but black women I know for a fact complain about having to go to work. And damn, they should complain about having to go to work. Because sisters, you shouldn't have to go to a slavery. You shouldn't have to go to a slavery. Because if we were in our rightful place, if we were keeping the laws of God, guess what? Keeping the laws of God will be enough for you to have a house and enough for you to have land. Imagine that being an ultimatum. Someone saying, sis, all you have to do is put down Swisher Sweets and you can get your feet off the floor of this job in this warehouse in Amazon right now. You can go home. You can have all the land that is sufficient for you and your family. You don't have to worry about school shootings happening to your child. You don't have to worry about sending your son and daughter to an elementary school and them not coming home. You could put your feet up and be tender and delicate and not have to stress about going to a slavery to benefit another nation of people, and you could still receive an inheritance. What woman wouldn't accept that deal? What brother wouldn't accept that deal? What brother wouldn't say, man, you know what? All I have to do is stop having sex with whores. All I have to do is just simply serve the Lord, and I don't have to work for this land. Who wouldn't accept that ultimatum? Well, this is the ultimatum that the Most High God, through Joshua, is giving the children of Israel. Let's keep going. Salakia. Now, therefore, fear the Most High, and serve him in sincerity and in truth, not like the Christians. Joshua said to serve the Most High in sincerity and in truth. Christians serve the Most High with lies, being dishonest, being disobedient sons and daughters. That's how Christians serve the Lord. Not in sincerity and truth. They're not sincere about their love for the Lord. They talk about loving God, but then when it comes down to doing what he says do, they're not sincere. They serve him in lies. They repent for their sins every day. That's not sincere. Christians believe a man can be a rapist for his entire life, like Jeffrey Dahmer, and then go to prison like Jeffrey Dahmer and ask God for forgiveness, and Jeffrey Dahmer will go to heaven. Christians make a mockery of the Most High God. Christians do not believe in loving the Lord in sincerity and in truth, or else they would not sin against him. Joshua is giving an ultimatum to the children of Israel. Joshua is giving an ultimatum to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And he said the land that the Most High God has blessed each tribe of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel with, you didn't have to work for it, but you will have to serve the Lord for it. Who wouldn't take that deal? A brother is facing 25 years to life in prison right now, and you say, all you have to do is serve God, and you won't have to do no time. All you have to do is just never commit the crime again. Who wouldn't accept that deal? Brother, Christians don't accept that deal. Did you know that? Christians have an opportunity right now to serve the Most High God under command and general honor, just like they did under Joshua, just like they did under Moses, just like they did under Christ. And Christians have refused God since the days of Adam, since the days of Moses. Let's keep reading. And put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood. All you have to do is put away your other gods. All you have to do is put away your Christmases. All you have to do is put away your Thanksgiving and your birthday. All you have to do is put away your allegiance to America, your allegiance to the royal crown, to the British Queen, to the King in England. All you have to do is put away your other gods, the God of marijuana, the God of 420, the God of dreadlocks, the God of whoredom, the God of Christianity, the God of Islam, the God of Dalai Lama, the God of the other nations. That's all you have to do, Ak. All you have to do is simply serve God, your power, your God, in sincerity and truth. You know what you have to do? All you have to do is serve your God the way that those Arabs served Allah. Those Arabs are absolutely devout to their God Allah. They are absolutely sincere, so much so that they will blow themselves up for their God. They will commit terrorist acts on another nation's land for their God. Brother, you better be as zealous of serving your God as the Arabs are of serving their God. The Arabs serve Allah in sincerity and truth. Dalai Lama's God apparently is a child molester. They serve their God well, because I watched Dalai Lama suck a boy's tongue and tell him to suck his tongue. That's what I watched with my own eyes 1 week ago. They serve their God well, Ak. The so-called Christian, the Christians serve their God, Ak. Brother, Christians serve their God. You know how I know? Because they got America. They got North America, Central America, South America, because of serving the God of the Christian church. The God of the Christian church, the Spanish conquistadors served the God of the Christian church. So much so that every Mexican speaks Spanish, that every Colombian speaks Spanish, that every Puerto Rican speaks Spanish, that everybody in the so-called Latin South Central America speaks Spanish. That's how zealous the conquistadors were with serving the God of Christianity. Brother, you better serve the God of the Bible, the God of the niggas. You better serve that God the way that the Arabs serve their God, the way the conquistadors serve their God, in sincerity and in truth. You better be sincere about loving the Lord. You better be sincere about serving him and obeying him and putting down the things that he told us to put down and pick up the things that he told us to pick up, like courage, like rules, like a code of conduct. That's all you have to do. What's so hard about that? Let's keep reading. And put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Most High. Verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Most High, choose. This is the part I want you to understand right here. This part here is heavy, because every Christian knows this scripture I'm about to read. Everyone. They have it in their homes. When you go into their bathrooms, you try to wash your hands. So after you done did your business, there's a Joshua chapter 24 verse 15 sticker throughout the walls as the wallpaper in the church and in the Christian's house. They see this scripture every Sunday. They recite it, and they truly understand. They truly believe the scripture, but they don't understand the scripture. Let's keep going. Verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Most High, choose you this day whom ye will serve. Let's go into this here real fast, Doc. Real fast, right? Choice. That's the one thing I need to look up. Choice, right? I got a few articles for you, brothers and sisters. First, let's do this. Let's go into women's liberation, right? Choice, right? At one time, black women didn't have a choice on what their occupations were. They didn't have a choice. Do you know that in 1776, does everyone know what the Constitution of America says? At least the preamble, right? Everybody, I mean, come on now. I know, listen, if you live in America and you went to school in America, you should know the preamble. Like, we all had to take American government. So like, maybe am I too young, Elisha? Somebody help me, right? Sister that's on class that's looking, sis, do you know the preamble? Do y'all know the preamble? It was on Schoolhouse Rock. I just got done talking about Schoolhouse Rock yesterday. Do y'all know what the preamble is? Do you know what the Constitution of America is? You may not know every single, every number, 1, 2, 3, 4, but at least know that that's what is in the Declaration of Independence is the freedom of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's in the Declaration of Independence, Isupk. What's in the preamble? Someone tell me. You don't have to recite the entire thing. But what is one of the main things in the preamble? Right? Anybody know what the preamble even is? Salakia, before I get to running my mouth. This is what I want to look up. Women's liberation. Right? Anybody know the preamble? Don't be afraid to comment. Go ahead, comment. Everything's okay. Everything's all right. Just comment. Just comment. You understand? Comment on what is in the preamble. I just got done explaining how in the Declaration of Independence there is a freedom. There are freedoms of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is going to help you out very well to understand the Bible. The sister said, "Khan, sir, Most High Christ." Well, sis, name just a few things that are in the preamble. Okay, what are a few things in the preamble? Anybody? Just name a few. You ain't got to name the whole entire don't recite the entire thing, Salakia. But what are a few? What are a few major points in the preamble of America, right? Every nation has a constitution. Every developed country, every civilized country has a constitution. Something that protects their people, that's for their people. Something that is sacrosanct for their people. You understand? Now, remind you, the year that the Declaration of Independence was written, the Constitution was written in America, was 1776. That's an important date to remember for what we're about to break down. All right? But what is something that is in the preamble? Let me help you out. Provide justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and establish justice and Salakia. Provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and for ourselves and our posterity to declare and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I know something. I know a little bit of it, Salakia. All right, but so what is that domestic tranquility? Right? Someone tell me the domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, for ourselves and our posterity. Someone describe that to me. That's in the preamble of the Constitution of the United States of America. The young man said, "You sound like you know." Well, tell me, explain it to me. What is the provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, establish justice for ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain, that's what it says. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. That's the preamble, right? Four lines, one stanza. That's it. Okay? What is promoting the general welfare, providing for the common defense, for ourselves and our posterity? What is domestic tranquility? Let's break that down first and foremost. That's what you're going to need here. Something. Let me help you out. This is going to help you understand domestic tranquility. Joshua just gave this to the children of Israel, we just read about. The entire first 15 minutes of this class was about Joshua giving the children of Israel domestic tranquility. What does domestic mean? Home. Home. Here in America, right? Domestic tranquility. Domestic is America. Something that's foreign is outside of America. Tranquil is peace, right? Tranquility. I believe in Spanish is tranquilizante, right? I believe that's it in Spanish. So tranquil is peace. Right? Peace. Domestic tranquility is peace at home. Right? Peace at home. That's what Joshua just got done promising the children of Israel with these inheritances that they didn't have to work for. Peace at home, Ak. Peace at home. Well, guess what? In the preamble of America, one of the things that they have in their Constitution is domestic tranquility. Domestic tranquility. Peace at home. Peace at home. This is the reason why I wanted you to hone in on domestic tranquility in the Constitution. That was written in 1776. How do they get peace at home? Someone explain that to me. How does America have peace at home? Why is America one of the countries of the world that have been one of the least attacked throughout world history? Why hasn't there been more attacks on U.S. soil from foreign countries? 9/11 and Japan. Those are the only two. Why has America been so successful since 1776 with domestic tranquility and providing for the common defense and promoting the general welfare? All of that garbage is worked for America. It's worked for America. How has it worked for America? How has the oppressors that run America for the past 276 years, why have they been so successful in abiding to their Constitution? I need some answers, Doc. Somebody break this down. Y'all listening and watching watching class online. Break this down. Why has America been so successful in promoting the general welfare? Why has America been so successful in protecting their First Amendment rights, their Second Amendment rights? Why have they been so successful? And why have they been so successful with domestic tranquility? How come America never gets attacked? America never gets attacked, Doc. You would have to go back to 9/11, which was 21 years ago, 22 years ago, and then before that, 80 years before that during Japan, Pearl Harbor, November 4th. So why has America only been attacked twice? Why have they been so successful with providing peace at home for the oppressors that live in America? The brother said they're good unalivers. Okay, that's good, but that's not the reason why. And this is what's going to help Christians understand something, right? Because Christians, freedom is something that is so important to a Christian, but Christians don't know how they even get freedom. And this is what's going to help you. I'm breaking it down with America, using America as an example, because America has done a tremendous job of protecting their best interests, their people. They've done a great job with domestic tranquility for their people. Why have they been so successful? Not just because they're good killers. That's good. They're good unalivers. Yeah, they've unalived every country. They've done that. But that's not the answer, Ak. Just unaliving people. I mean, what's his name? Alexander the Greek. Alexander the so-called great unalived people. And after he died, 5 years after he died, Ak, 10 years after he died, everything that he built was gone. So that's not why. Thomas Jefferson hasn't lived in, 150 years? 5 years after Alexander the so-called Great was died, his empire was wiped out because of so much turmoil and so much domestic problems. So many domestic problems in Rome. The northern part of Rome fought with the southern part of Rome after Alexander the so-called Great died. So how come America, out of all of the dynasties and kingdoms of the earth, how have for almost 300 years they've been so successful with protecting their people with their constitution, with their preamble, with their beliefs, with their God? How have they been successful with domestic tranquility? How is it that white men in America never go to jail for crimes? How come Americans, right? White Americans who are Americans, how come they get to unalive Trayvon Martin and unalive the brother up in Minnesota? What's his name? Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That oppressor Kim Potter, the cop who thought she pulled out a taser but really pulled out her gun and shot him, she was just released from jail 2 days ago. She did 16 months in jail for unaliving an innocent, unarmed black man at a traffic stop. She did 16 months and she's in jail. Your father did 25 years in jail for 3 ounces of crack cocaine. How is it that Americans can have so much tranquility in their home? How is it that they don't go to jail and they have freedoms, freedoms that you wouldn't even understand? How is it that Bill Clinton, how is it Donald Trump isn't in prison right now? How come he has the freedom to grab women by the vagina? Why is that? How come Americans have mastered their domestic tranquility so well and their freedom so well? Now, brother, what the young man said, he said they're good killers. They're good at killing. I need you're walking down the right path, but I need you to bring that answer home. How is it that Americans have done so well with their freedoms, Ak? How is it, Ak? America, they say, is the freest country on planet Earth. And if you're white in America, you are free like you wouldn't believe. You're free. You're absolutely free. Americans can go to any country on the planet Earth, and when they say I'm an American, that means they're untouchable. Do you understand how much peace why that must feel so good? Okay, the brother said establishing guidelines that will help build America and create laws. Y'all on to it, man. Y'all on to it, but y'all not there. Remember, let me read this. It's going to help you out. Verse 14. Now, therefore, fear the Most High and serve him in sincerity and in truth. This is the answers that everybody's giving. This is the problem with Christianity. In a Christian's mind, he has freedoms. Why does a Christian think he has freedoms? Because he loves Jesus and loves God so well. Why? What did Joshua just tell the children of Israel? Joshua said, now therefore serve the Most High. Joshua didn't give you a choice, Ak. Joshua didn't give you a choice. He said, now therefore serve the Most High. This is an ultimatum. This is something that Christians, Ak, don't understand. Christians think that they have a choice on getting high. In your mind, you think that I have the choice. You were raised in a house where everyone got high. You got older, you start smoking. And in your mind, you say, well, I have the choice of getting high. What does every crackhead say? What does every drug addict say? I could stop whenever I want to. I could stop whenever I want to. I'm just doing this just to, ease my mind. I get migraines every now and again. Christians don't understand what an ultimatum is. They think you can serve God as you please. That's not true, right? Because we just read in the Bible where Joshua said, now therefore serve the Most High. That's not an option, Ak. That's not an alternative. How does America, I'm walking y'all down the path, don't think of it as a Christian. Take all the Christianity off your mind. I get the killing. I get they're the devil the Bible speaks of. I understand they're greedy. Y'all right. Y'all absolutely right. These are all things that describe the oppressor in America. But how have they been so successful at making sure that their constitution is upheld? How are they so successful at protecting their liberties and their freedoms that are in their Constitution. How are they so successful? I'm going to give you one more minute. One more minute. I'm walking y'all down the path. Don't think of it like a Christian act. And that's what a lot of brothers and sisters doing. You thinking of it like a Christian. You thinking like a Christian. A Christian thinks that they have a choice. Right? They think they have a choice. Someone help me out. Come on now. You got 30 more seconds and I'm going to give you the answer. America has done a hell of a job, Ak. A hell of a job for their fellow Americans when it comes to protecting their freedoms and their liberties. But how have they been able to protect their freedoms and their liberties? All right, I have to give it to you. Okay, Salaki, I have to give it to you. I don't see any more comments coming in. I have to give it to you. America has been so successful at promoting their liberties and freedoms because they don't have a choice, Ak. They don't have a choice. If you ever wanted to know why Americans hate Benedict Arnold, it's because, I'm sorry, is it Americans that hate Benedict Arnold or the British? Whoever. Benedict Arnold was a white traitor in the Revolutionary War, and the people that he betrayed, they absolutely hate him. Why do they hate him? Because he was a traitor. He was a traitor. He betrayed something that those people fought so hard to get. And this is something black people, because of Christianity, we will never understand this concept without the UPK. With choice and with freedoms, there is soldiers. There are men that protect your freedom. Brother, what am I talking about? The Navy SEALs, Ak. The Navy. The United States Navy. The United States Marine Corps. The United States Army. The United States Coast Guard. The United States Air Force. The United States Space Force. There are men who take a vow that they don't have a choice in the matter. Ak. They don't have a choice. Like General Muhammad was just breaking down 2 days ago. If you sign a contract to join the oppressor's military, you have to honor that contract. How do you honor that contract? If you feel like leaving, you can't leave. You don't have a choice in who you serve. You don't have a choice in fighting for America. You have to go to war. There was a funny story this brother in the Army told me. This was when I was fresh out of Esau's military. He went to, he joined along. He was older than me. He joined Esau's military in 2004. So he was in Fallujah, Iraq, right? And this brother was on the tank. He was in the tank armor division, or he was a gunner on a bow gunner on a track. And he told me this funny story as they were flying into Fallujah. He said one of the brothers was so scared. He was scared to death to go into combat that he started acting crazy. He was acting crazy like, man, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, man. I'm going to just act insane. He said he acted insane. Now, they gave this cat a rubber gun, and he still had to go over there and fight those Arabs in Fallujah, Iraq. You can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. And this is what's going to free your mind, Christians. America has been so successful with protecting their freedoms and liberties because there are men who sacrifice their freedoms and liberties. There are people who have to make a sacrifice so someone else can enjoy what they need. Christians just don't understand. What I'm saying is foreign to Christians. They don't even understand. They said sacrificing needs, sacrifice. They don't even they won't ever give up anything. Because to a Christian, they have to be indulgent. They have to indulge in everything. That's what the brother I said, Elisha, give him a hand. He said greed, right? Christians are greedy. The white man is greedy. There's no one more greedy than him. But he knows that if he doesn't make a sacrifice, in not leaving, right? Not leaving, being steadfast, being patient, doing something forever for the rest of his life, if he doesn't do that, then there are people in his country that won't have domestic tranquility. They won't receive the promises that Thomas Jefferson, the promises that Andrew Jackson and George Washington fought for and wrote on a piece of paper for. They won't have their constitutions if they don't sacrifice what they want. Joshua understood that, Ak. Joshua absolutely understood that. Let me show you who else understands this. Black women. Right? Let me read a few statistics for you. This is the Center of Disease Control, the CDC. Maternal mortality rates in the United States as of 2020. Now, these numbers have went up in the last 3 years because it's 2023. But this report is from 2020. It says, this report, so like in 2020, the maternal mortality rate for non-Hispanic black women were 55.3 deaths per 100,000 live births, 2.9 times the rate for white women. The increases from 2019 to 2020 for black and Hispanic women were significant. The observed increase for 2019 to 2020 for non-Hispanic white women was not significant. Right? So the meaning, what I just read, the numbers for black maternal mortality rate, if you don't know what maternal mortality rate is women that die giving birth. Women that die pregnant and giving birth. That's a maternal mortality rate. Okay? And it's saying that in the year 2020, black women, like now in 2023, the numbers keep going up every year. The numbers keep going up for black and Hispanic women that somehow are dying at a significantly alarming rate in childbirth in America, in the world's most richest, most powerful country. Women die giving birth to a child. Something that women are supposed to do, give birth and get pregnant. They're dying doing something that is natural. They're dying, and black and Hispanic women are dying at a higher rate than anybody. Right? If you want to understand choice, understand this. Right? Black women are dying at this high alarming rate. And it's sad. This is a epidemic. Right? As I listen to a lot of these medical journal shows, journalists, and all, it's a lot of medical journalists I listen to. When I say medical journalists, I mean journalists that literally cover the medical field. Right? Some sister, some oppressor who's a good journalist, she covers these things. She also covers things in the STEM field. Right? And so as I listen to these things, and there's a book called Medical Apartheid that I didn't bring with me today, but that I do own, the numbers are just alarming. And it is an epidemic of black and Hispanic women that are dying giving birth to their children. Being pregnant is just dangerous for a black and Hispanic woman. It is absolutely dangerous. Right? Let's read this part right here. Oh, let's see. Rates increase with maternal age. So the older, obviously, the older you get, the more at risk you are. Okay? Now, let's look at this here. This is amazing. This is going to blow your damn mind. Okay, so now, we looked up the maternal. This is something that's an epidemic. If a black woman or Hispanic woman is listening to this, they know just what I'm saying. Because when they're pregnant and they go to the doctor, there are certain tests that doctors are going to conduct on women that are pregnant. Preeclampsia, so many different things a woman that is pregnant could get while she's pregnant. Guess what happens when you're black and Hispanic? The numbers and the chances of you getting these diseases, they go up when you're pregnant if you're black and Hispanic. Right? This is going to blow your mind. This is an article I did. I researched this. I looked this up. Because, of course, in any other industry, wherever there's a problem affecting a particular group of people, all the time, not sometimes, not maybe, if there's an industry where something is affecting a particular group of people, there will always be that group of people going to solve that problem for their people. You can look at it in any industry ever in world history. If there were black deaths that affected British people, there was an influx of doctors, of research, of medicine, of this, of that, of this, just so the black death could end. So the black plague could end. The same with any other epidemic, any other epidemic that affects a group of people. Over there in Africa, you wonder why there are so many doctors from Africa that come over here to become doctors. You think they're coming over here to give black women better medical care? They're coming over here to be doctors so they can solve the problems all the medical problems for their people in Eritrea and in Sudan and in Ethiopia and in Nigeria. Those East Indians that come over to be doctors, they're trying to solve problems for their people like any other race of people would. There has to be a people, there has to be someone in that nation that is going to sacrifice so that the rest of their people could live, so that their posterity could benefit from the general welfare, could benefit from domestic tranquility, could benefit from all the promises that are in America's Constitution. There has to be someone who sacrifices what they want, sacrifices their pleasures. You mean to tell me that all of these Asians and East Indians and all of these Africans that come over here, there's been an influx of those nations that are becoming doctors. You mean to tell me that all of them wanted to become doctors? They didn't. They didn't. There was a research, my sister, I have a sister that did this while she was in school getting her, one of my sisters that were getting her psychology degrees. She said that out of all the Asians, she asked and interviewed and did this study, and she said that majority of Asians that are in an industry, in a field like engineering, technology, math, science, medicine, they don't want to be in those fields. So she said, well, she asked them, well, why do you want to, why do you do it then? Why, if you don't want to be a doctor, why are you a doctor? If you don't want to be an engineer, why are you an engineer? And they 100% of the time said, I'm doing this because I know that my nation, they didn't say nation, but they said, I'm doing this because I know my nation needs doctors. I'm doing this because I know my nation needs engineers. I'm doing this because I know my nation needs scientists. I'm doing this not because I want to do it. I'm doing it because I have to do it. And that, as a young boy, I was still in high school when my older sister told me this. When hearing that, I said, wow, that just blew my mind. Because growing up black and Hispanic in the church, you never do what you don't want to do. You always do what you want to do. Why did Black China become an Instagram sensation? Because she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to make $2.9 million on OnlyFans a month and let strangers look at her behind. She absolutely wanted to do that, She wanted to do it. Why do so many women and brothers, why do brothers go and become basketball players and NFL players? Why do they want to be rappers so bad? You mean to tell me that brothers dying to try to be a rapper because he doesn't want to be a rapper? Brother, black men want to be rappers and basketball players and football players and Instagram sensations. You want those jobs. But here's the problem, black man. Here's the problem, black woman. Your nation doesn't need you to have those jobs. I know it hurts, but that's the sad reality. We don't need more black rappers and black athletes and more black entertainers. This is what we need more of. What I'm about to read right here. This is what we need more of. If you're a black and Hispanic woman, you better, if you have an ear to hear, you better hear this, what I'm about to read. This is CNN Health. Only 5.7% of U.S. doctors are black, and experts warn the shortage harms public health. Now this is amazing. Now the black woman that they got to interview for this article, she's not even a black woman. She's an African. I just got done saying that there's an increase of African doctors, of East Indian and Asians. Why? Because they wanted all to be doctors. That's what they dreamed about being as little boys and little girls. No, because their nation needs doctors so that their nation's women don't die of childbirth. That's why Africans are becoming doctors, so that they don't end up like black women, so that they don't end up like Shaniqua, so that they don't end up like Tiana. They don't end up like Shay Shay. They don't end up like your sister dying giving birth to a child. Don't you understand that? They don't want their daughters to be like your mother and aunts and sisters. So they're going to sacrifice what they have to so that they don't end up like your aunts and mothers and sisters. Let's read. When being truly honest with herself, Sean Adebayo says she can describe what drove her to the medical world. Describe what drove her to go to medical school in a single word: self-preservation. Adebayo, who was born in Nigeria and grew up in Boston, said that as a child, she often saw tensions between certain aspects of Western medicine and beliefs with Nigerian culture. She yearned to have the expertise to bridge those worlds and help translate medical information while combating misinformation for her loved ones and for herself. Do I have to keep reading that? The article says that there are only 5.7% of black doctors. There's only 1% that are women. Black women aren't becoming doctors. I know you see a few on Instagram and you see a few on some medicine show on A&E or some garbage like that. That isn't even, that's it. Who you see, the black women you see as doctors, that's it in America. If she's the daughters of slaves like a Michelle Obama, right? A black woman, not a Nigerian woman with dark skin. If she's your sister, that's all there is in the medical field. But hold on, who's dying more of maternal mortality? Who suffers more from maternal mortality? Nigerian women or African American women? African American women suffer more. And this Nigerian girl with dark skin from Africa who's Nigerian, she's a third-year medical student at Massachusetts. She said, I wanted to go into medicine because I felt like who better to mediate that tension than someone like me, who knows what it's like to exist in both. The deeper I got into my medical education, the more I realized if I'm in the system, I know how it works. I not only know the science, but I also know how the system works. She said of how in many black and brown communities there can be limited access to care and resources within the medical system. I know what to ask for on the patient side if I'm worried about something for myself, but then also for my parents and family. See, this is a Nigerian girl, like so many of these Nigerians and these Nigerians, and what's the other one? Eritreans? I think when you look it up, there's a statistic of people from Africa, an influx, that are becoming doctors like crazy. And like I just said on cue, she's a Nigerian girl. And why does she want to go into medicine? Because she wanted to bridge the gap between modern Western medicine and her Nigerian people suffering in Nigeria. There's a problem. Just a few years ago, wasn't it when Obama was in office, there was a Ebola outbreak over there in Africa. An Ebola outbreak. What did the African people do? Did they go to Instagram and become Instagram stars? Did they want to become rappers? Did they want to become basketball players? Was there an influx of Nigerian people becoming basketball players after Ebola? No, there's an influx of Nigerian doctors. Why? Because there are people over in Nigeria who don't want their women to die of Ebola, who don't want their men to die of Ebola. So they're going to sacrifice the pleasures of this world so that the people in their community can live. Every nation does it. Let me get you some more statistics, right? Where is it at? Here we go, right? This is from statnews.com. Black people in counties with more, Black people in counties with more black primary care physicians live longer. Come on now, go figure. According to a new national analysis that provides the strongest evidence, yet that increasing the diversity of the medical workforce may be key to ending deeply entrenched racial health disparities. The study published Friday in JAMA, or the journalist, this is the American Medical Association, right? The Journal of American Medical Association is the first to link a higher prevalence of black doctors to longer life expectancy and lower mortality in black populations. Go figure out, when there are more black doctors in a black community, black people somehow live longer. Go figure. That man, wow, that's who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that when there are more Nigerian doctors in Nigeria, Nigerian people live? Who would have known that when there are more white doctors in a white community, more white people live? Lo and behold, Doc, when there are more black doctors in a black community, when there are more blacks and Hispanics that are doctors and physicians in a black and Hispanic community, the mortality rate is lower significantly. Who would have thought, Doc? Who would have thought? Your pastor has done a horrible job leading black people. Dr. King is worthless. Those Christian pastors in the black community are worthless, Doc. You don't have to sacrifice anything. You get to make a choice based on what you feel. You get to decide based on what you feel like doing. What do you want to do when you grow up, son? Oh, I want to be just like LeBron James. But son, don't you know that there are so many black men that are disproportionately going to prison? You don't want to be a lawyer or a judge or a Supreme Court justice. You want to be like LeBron James? Well, how do you solve the problem of black men going to prison? By going to dribble a basketball? Your pastor has ill-equipped these people for life. Lo and behold, where there are communities and places where there are more black doctors, black people in the community live longer. What are you going to do when you get older, daughter? What you going to do when you get older, Tawana? Well, Daddy, you know, I want to be just like Black China. I want to be just like Brittany Griner. I want to be just like, Sukiyana. I want to be a black rapper like Cardi B. Well, daughter, don't you know that when you get pregnant, you're more likely to die having a child than you are to give birth to that child? Do you know that, daughter? Well, yeah, but I just want to be like Cardi B and I want to be like Megan Thee Stallion. But you know that black women are dead giving birth to children. You don't want to go to medical school and be a doctor. You don't want to sacrifice what you want so that someone else can live. That's not what you want to do. You want to fulfill your lust. Is that what you're telling me? You want to fulfill every desire you have. That's what you want to do. What about the desires of the Most High God? 5.7%, less than 2% of doctors in America are black women. And black women are dead giving birth to children. More than any other race on the earth. More than third world countries. And what is your profession? What is your occupation? An Instagram star? An Amazon worker? And it's no, so listen, I'm not knocking you if whatever your profession is. That's how you make money. But this is the point I'm making, brothers and sisters. I don't even have to go into the rest of this, because this is just embarrassing. All of this just shows how embarrassing the Christian church is. All of the statistics show how embarrassing the black and Hispanic Christian churches are. I don't even have to go into the rest of all of that statistics and all that garbage, because it is embarrassing to your pastor. It is embarrassing to your politician that your black leaders did nothing in preparing you for life, for reality, for being practical, for living practical. They did nothing. They taught you how to sing. They taught you how to dance. They taught you how to woman thou art loosed. And they taught you how to act like a man and think like a man and act like a woman. That's what your leaders taught you how to do. But they didn't teach you how to go to school and be a doctor so that you can solve the problems of your people. They didn't teach you how to go and get educated so you can solve the problems of your people. The Christian church did a horrible job teaching us how to sacrifice our lust and our personal desires for what the Lord wants, for what our people need. That's what matters. There was a man who did do this. There was a man who achieved that. His name is Joshua. We're reading about him right now. You understand? Verse 15. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Most High, choose you this day whom ye will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Now, of course, the brothers and sisters, the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, after Joshua told them this, of course, what do you think their response was? What do you think after he brought you out of the land of Egypt, after the Most High God showed you amazing miracles, performed amazing miracles to save our lives, gave you food in the wilderness, did amazing things for us, what do you think the response of black people was? Of course they were going to serve the Lord. Of course that's what they said. But let's read what Joshua said. Verse 16. And the people answered and said, Most High forbid that we should Most High forbid that we should forsake the Most High to serve other gods. Verse 17. For the Most High our power, He it is that brought us up and our fathers out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, and which did those great signs in our sight, and preserved us in all the way wherein we went, and among all the people through whom we passed. What? Serve the Lord? Of course I'm going to serve the Lord. Are you crazy? He brought me out of a mighty long way. That's what all you Christians, of course I love Jesus. Why wouldn't I love God? He brought me out of a mighty long way. He brought me a mighty long way. I can't complain. I won't complain. God, I love Jesus. I love God. Of course, Joshua, we're going to serve God. Of course, we're going to put down the pork and the shrimp and the crab and the lobster to serve God. Of course, we're going to make sacrifices to serve the Lord. Of course, I want to serve Jesus. Doesn't everybody want to serve the Lord? Doesn't everybody want to serve God? Isn't that what we all are trying to do here? Well, listen to what Joshua said. Salakia. Listen to what Joshua said. Verse 18. Salakia, verse 19. And Joshua said unto the people, Ye cannot serve the Most High. Damn. Everybody that's black and Hispanic in that church act, they all want to serve the Lord. Isn't that what everybody says? Isn't that what your pastor have taught you? We got to serve the Lord. We love Jesus. We love God. We love the Lord. Everybody serves the Lord in the church, apparently. Every Christian serves God. I guess Eddie Long, what he was doing was the work of the Lord when he was molesting those boys. I guess those Catholic priests who have so many sexual misconduct, sexual deviant lawsuits against them for molesting children, I guess all of those archdioceses were just serving the Lord too. Everybody wants to serve the Lord, and everybody says they want to serve the Lord. But this is what Joshua said. And Joshua said unto the people, Ye cannot serve the Most High. Ye cannot serve the Lord. Are you out of your mind? You think that you are going to serve the Lord? That's what you say? Listen, I know when Brittany Griner got over there and she finally made it to the gulag in Russia, I'm sure she was saying to the Lord, help me, save me. I know at that moment she wanted to serve the Lord. In that moment she wanted to serve God. As soon as she found out that they found that joint in her bag trying to go to the airport, trying to go on that aircraft, that plane, I just know, because I'm a black man, I just know that sister was scared to death. When they sentenced her to 9 years and they shipped her over to that Russian penal colony, brother, I know that she was praising the Lord. Right about then, Brittany Griner was on them knees in that cell and asking the Lord for His mercy and His grace. Of course everybody wants to serve the Lord. That's what you say. That's what you say. Salakia. Of course everybody want to serve God. Joshua said, Ye cannot serve the Most High. Salakia, am I still on live? This thing acting like it clipped me. Okay, Khan. Okay, Most High Christ. I was making sure. Salakia, this thing, okay, I was a little scared for a second. I thought the oppressor, he's the devil the Bible speaks of. I'm thinking he clipped my damn class. Let's get back to it. So, of course, you want to serve God. I know you do. With a blunt in your mouth and a whore in your bed, I know you want to serve the Lord. I know you do. But here's the problem. You cannot serve the Lord. You can't do it. You serve the Lord, you can't do it. Why did Joshua say that? Is Joshua trying to be hard on the children of Israel? Is Joshua trying to, is he hating? Is he a hater? Nah. He's being honest. Something you never had, honesty. He's telling the children of Israel, you cannot serve the Lord. This is why. For He is in holy power. That's the reason why you can't serve God. because your gods that you serve, they're not holy. The God of the Christian church allows anybody to serve him. Are you crazy? Jeffrey Dahmer became Christian before he was unalived in a jail cell. That John Wayne Gacy became Christian before he went and got the not the electric chair, before he was put to death in prison. He was sentenced to the death penalty. And before he got put to death, brother, every serial killer loves Jesus. Every serial killer loves God. Every rapist, every child molester, every murderer, everybody loves God. Everybody does. Everybody wants to serve God. They could in the church. They absolutely can in the church. The God of the Christian church allows anybody to serve him. The God of the Bible doesn't, because he is a holy God. He doesn't allow weed addicts to serve him. He doesn't allow rapists to serve him. He doesn't allow child molesters to serve him, and whores and whoremongers and liars and thieves. He doesn't allow them to serve him. You can't be a whoremonger, someone who is a purveyor of women. You can't sell your sister and make her out to be a whore and serve the God of the Bible. You can't be a Christian and serve the God of Christianity, or be a Muslim and serve the God of the Arabs and serve the God of the Bible. How do I know? Because the Bible just said that the Most High God of Israel is a holy God. He's a holy power. He's not the God of the Christian church. He's not the God of your grandmother. He's not the God of all of you sisters who, instead of going to become doctors, you go and be an Instagram whore. He's not your God. That's the God of the Christian church. The God of the Israelites is a holy power. The God of the Bible is a holy power. Do you understand, Ak? Everybody can serve him. And that's what Joshua is laying on thick to the people. He's telling you, he's explaining to the children of Israel, he's explaining to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that you cannot serve the Lord, because God is a holy power. The Most High is a holy power, and he doesn't allow anybody to serve him. It's a hard thing to serve the Lord. How do I know? Because it takes sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. Something your church doesn't require of you. To sacrifice who you love. To sacrifice what you want. To sacrifice your personal desires. You can't be all loving and serve the Lord. I know that you want to love white people. I know you want to pledge allegiance to the flag. But in order to serve the God of the Bible, you can't love white people, and you can't pledge allegiance to America. You can't pledge allegiance to the Great Britain. You can't pledge allegiance to Canada. You can't pledge allegiance to Christianity. You can't pledge allegiance to 420 and Christmas and Thanksgiving. You can't vote and pledge your allegiance to someone who isn't a man of God. You can't serve the God of the Bible and live the life that you've been living since you've been born as a Christian, as a Muslim. You can't do it. He's a holy power. He doesn't allow any filth to serve him. Let's keep going. He is a jealous God. The Most High is jealous, Isupk. He's jealous, Isupk. You don't even understand how jealous the Lord is over the nation, over the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. You think that the God of the Bible is like the God of the church. The God of the Christian church doesn't get jealous. You can serve the God of the... This is something I always would like to ask a Christian. How is it that you can celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, your birthday, get high, and get divorced, and God still loves you? How is that? That's what I would always like to ask some Christian, Isupk. That always blows my goddamn mind. That you can do so much that goes against the God of the Christian church, but he still accepts you. He's not a jealous God, Isupk. You could be a Muslim and a Christian. Go ask Malcolm X, Isupk. Towards the end of Malcolm X's life, he just became Christian again. He became Martin Luther King. Did anybody know that? I know all of you brothers that's in the Nation of Islam, you love Malcolm X. So many of you blackity black pro-black nuts love Malcolm X. You think he was better than Dr. King. Right before Malcolm X passed away, Isupk, before he was assassinated. Do you know that he started to love everybody? He started to share the cup with Arabs and white men, drinking out of the same cup as white men and Arabs. He was Dr. King, brother. He became Christian. He was Christian and Muslim. Malcolm X was a Muslim and a Christian. He loved the Arabs' God, but he also loved white people like Christians. Brother, how does the God of the Christian church allow that? That's what I would always like to know from a Christian. Christians can do whatever they want. No remorse, no sacrifice, no anything. Just do what you please. And your God still loves you? Not my God. If I did whatever I wanted to, I'd be put to death because my God doesn't allow that. My God is a jealous God. Your God just allows everything. Your God is all-knowing. The God of the Christian church is all-knowing. He's omnipotent. He's omnipresent. He's everywhere. He knows this. He knows that. He knows what you're going to do before you do it and just let you do it. You got free will. You just got every confusion in the church. You can be a man and a woman. You can be you can let your child be a son, a boy, or a girl like Dwayne Wade. You can just do whatever you want to do in the church and no consequences from it. Nothing. Your God isn't a jealous God, Doc. My God is. The God of this Bible, he's a jealous power. He doesn't allow any filth to serve him. Some sinner that's going to serve the Lord? Nah, man. Because you have to be holy. You have to change yourself before you serve the Lord. You have to stop making so many goddamn choices. That's the point of tonight's class, which is why I brought up the entire black maternal mortality rate. Because if black women didn't make the choice, and that's what I was going to get into if we had time. If we had more time, I was going to show you the occupation of black women before civil rights, before women's liberation, and the occupation of black women after women's liberation, after civil rights. See, before black women had the choice of choosing their profession, black women were in hospitals working. Black women were the maids, were the caregivers, were the nurses. Same with the Benjamite sisters down in the West Indian Islands. When they went over there to Great Britain and to London, Coventry, they were the maids and the caregivers and the nurses over in London, over in the UK. Same in Canada. Black and Hispanic women. Same with it here. Same with everywhere. Before civil rights, black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women were the nurses, were the caregivers, were the women who took care of everybody because they didn't have a choice. They were slaves. Before the Civil Rights Act, your grandmother was a goddamn slave. She didn't have a choice on cleaning the white man's floors. She had to clean the white man's floors or else she would get put out of her house. She had to be a nurse or else everybody would just starve. Everybody would be sick. She didn't have a choice. But because sisters have choices now, what do you think the jobs of black women are now? You think they're caregivers like their grandmothers? Do you think they know how to take care of a family? Do you think they know how to prevent from maternal mortality rates? No, hell no. Because they have the choice on being an Instagram star. Your daughter, your black and Hispanic daughter, she's not going to choose to be a doctor. She's going to choose to live her life on Instagram worried about boys. If I see another meme about, brother, if I have to hear the conversation, any esoteric, any, what's the word I'm looking for? Any one of those same old questions, and brother, I'm going to be sick. I'm going to vomit. I'm so goddamn sick. Every time I turn on any social media or the TV, everything is about relationships. Can a man have multiple wives? Can a man do this? Should a man pay all the bills? Should it do this? What about, can the man tell you what to wear? What about men having multiple wives? Can a man have multiple wives? Shut the hell up. Black women are dying giving birth to children, and your concern is, can a man have multiple wives? BBLs, what you wearing? Your focus isn't where it should be, and that's thanks to your black Christian pastors. That's why so many black women are dying. What are you going to do? Make the choice to live your life on Instagram worried about boys? Why don't you make the decision to why don't you make a sacrifice to give up with what you want so that more black women could give birth and live? Don't you understand that you are only 1% of all doctors in America? 1%. Meanwhile, Nigerian girls are coming over here so they can become doctors so their Nigerian people don't die of Ebola. They didn't make a choice. They made a sacrifice. And that's what it takes to serve the God of Israel. A sacrifice, not a choice. Not, well, I guess I can give up weed. Nigga, you better give up weed or you're going to get lung cancer and die. I guess I'll, well, you know, I've never been good at science and math and technology. I can't be a doctor. I can't be a lawyer. I can't do this and can't do that. I'm just going to go and take the easy way out and become a content creator. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make content about boys and relationships and should men have multiple wives or not. Should a man tell you what to wear? Feminism. Is it dead? Is it alive? Black women are dying, meanwhile giving birth to babies. If I were you, I would make a sacrifice. F a choice. Make the sacrifice that the women before you couldn't make. Because when black women didn't have a choice, they weren't dying giving birth to kids at the rate they are now. That's another thing, another statistic I wanted to... Brother, these statistics and these research, all this research I did, it makes your head hurt. Because after women's liberation, you black women have so many choices. And what do you choose to do? Argue on social media about whether or not a man could have multiple wives. You've wasted your choices. You've wasted them. You chose to instead instead of going to school to be a doctor to solve the problem in your community of all of these black women that have that can't get the correct health care, that are dying in giving birth to kids, dying pregnant, that can't receive the adequate health care they need. What do? You go and be an Instagram star? You go and be a singer, a rapper, a dancer? What is that? You don't want to solve the problem that affects I thought all of you women wanted women's empowerment so much. So how come, if all of you black women want women to be empowered, why don't you want women to be saved? Because they're dying of giving birth to kids. So what is your solution? Abortion? Guess what? They're going to die having an abortion too. Abortion isn't health care. Health care is when you go to school and be a doctor, and now you can give health care, adequate health care, to a poor black girl who is just like you. And then maybe one day you can inspire her to be a doctor like you. Be an astronaut like Mae Jemison. Be a doctor. Mae Jemison was a doctor. Do you know Mae Jemison is the person who established medical rules and guidelines for astronauts in space? Did anybody ever know that? Mae Jemison, she was a doctor before an astronaut. That's the whole reason she went up into space. Her mission in space wasn't to build the ISS, the International Space Station. Oh, no. That was those white men and the black brother that was the astronaut. They were actual aeronautical engineers and all of that garbage to be astronauts, to do whatever they do in space. Not Mae Jemison. Mae Jemison was a black woman from California, if I'm not mistaken, or Chicago. It gets mixed up. She was a black woman. She was a daughter of slaves, that I know. And she was a sister who went to college at 16 in the 60s. She went to college at 16 years old. She became a doctor at a young age, 23, 24. She went to Nigeria. She went over to Africa, brother, and she created an entire medical guideline so that the poor people in Africa didn't have to suffer from the diseases that people in Western civilizations weren't suffering from. She researched it, she diagnosed it, and she solved the problem. So much so that when she applied for NASA, she got into NASA and she skyrocketed through the ranks because NASA hasn't seen a person like her, where they could send her up into space and monitor the health of astronauts. Before, they had to do those things on Earth. They sent a black woman up to space, and she conquered Earth and space. She went up to space, and she just developed NASA's program for the development of what space does to a person when they go to outer space. How do we monitor their health? Now, astronauts in 2023, they know they have to get this much water, this much food when they're in space. They have to exercise a certain way. They can't do heavy weight workouts. They have to do this. That's credited to Mae Jemison, a black woman, the daughter of slaves. She didn't go become an Instagram star. She didn't become a rapper and a singer. You know what Mae Jemison did? She solved a problem. That's what she did. She sacrificed whatever her desires were, and she went to school and she educated herself. She wasn't focused on boys. She didn't give a damn if men could have multiple wild women or not. She didn't give a damn about none of that. About if a man can tell her what to wear. She had her head in books and focused on education, and now she's recognized by the United States of America as one of the most prominent astronauts and doctors and engineers to ever live. Now, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing right now, sis? What are you doing? Instagram star? Is that what you want to be? What are you going to be, an Instagram star? Are you going to be a content creator who's going to talk about women and relationships all day? I'm going to vomit if I hear another podcast or another interview where the interview is about women and men. I'm going to vomit. I'm going to throw up. It's sickening. It's sickening when blacks and Hispanics suffer from real world problems. Not if men and women could have multiple wives. That's not a real world problem, brother. She's going to have sex with you regardless, Isupk. Just let me help you out. She doesn't care if you have other women. She's going to have sex with you. There, done. What really matters is when you do have sex with her, when she gets pregnant, she's going to die giving birth to your child. That's what you should focus on. Not multiple wives and can a man tell me what to do? F all of that. Sacrifice for your nation. Sacrifice for your nation. That's what you better do. Sacrifice. Don't make a choice. Don't make a decision. Just sacrifice for your nation. With that, all right, here we have to read the security announcements, so like it, just bear with me. All right, ISUPK security announcements. We're the ISUPK, start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which a brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21. Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashera. 10% of any penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We are currently in the Feast of First Fruits. All right. Remind Akim and Akwaf to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pants, headband, and war scarf. With that, Imajim, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teachers, to the brothers. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yah Ba'Shem Yahushua Brakatah, Brakathum, Yajimatah, Sar, face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan Ba'Hashem Yahushua, Yajimatah, class dismissed.